Today I canned some bread and butter pickles, and this is a recipe that I got out of the newspaper about 25 years ago. And the woman that wrote the article said that when she made these pickles the first time and gave them to her little girl, she said they taste just like real. No, they taste better than real. I did a side-by-side comparison between these pickles and store-bought, and these win hands down. This recipe makes 5 pints of pickles, so you need to slice up enough cucumbers to give you 5 pints. And I underestimated this, and I only had enough for 4 pints. You also need to slice up some onions. You'll be using a 1/4 cup of canning salt, and you'll layer the cucumbers and onions and salt until you've used it all up. Let it sit for 3 to 4 hours, then rinse the cucumbers well to remove the salt. Now it's time to mix up the pickle juice. I mixed 2 cups of vinegar, 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of water, 3 teaspoons of mustard, 3 teaspoons of celery seed, and 1 teaspoon of curry powder. And this recipe is different from most bread and butter pickle recipes because it's using curry powder instead of turmeric. Bring the mixture to a boil, add the cucumbers, and simmer for 5 minutes. Now it's time to start canning the pickles. I have my lids and rings at a simmer. I have my jars hot and ready. I take a hot jar. I fill it with the pickles. I add juice, leaving 1/4 inch headspace. I remove the air bubbles. Wipe the rim of the jar clean. Add a lid and ring and tighten them firmly. Then I set the jar in the canner to stay warm until I have all of the jars completed. I lower the rack into the canner and I make sure that there's at least 1 inch of water covering the jars. I process the pickles for 10 minutes. When the time was done, I turn off the heat, remove the lid, and let it sit for 5 minutes. Then I remove the jars and set them on the counter on a towel to cool. The next day, remove the rings, wash the jars, write pickles on the top, and the date that you canned them. That's how I can bread and butter pickles. Hope it helps.